Everybody for coming out today to welcome Caleb Sweet Hands Plant back home. This is a great homecoming. We're so proud of you and glad to have you back.
This time, we wish to offer a key to the city as a promise. Caleb always will be welcome here.
Thank you guys so much for coming out today. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I grew up on Bearwaller Road, and coming from a small city, you know, some of us, we may have big dreams, but because of where we come from, we feel like we're bound or shackled to that what we were born into, that's what it has to be for us for the rest of our life. But whatever your dreams and aspirations are, you can achieve those, you can be that. Some of my teachers or school classmates, I tell them I was gonna be a professional fighter. You don't think they looked at me crazy? I felt like I could go to the bright lights and still make noise and do something out there. Some bumps and bruises along the way for those of you who know me and know my story. From the age of 9, this is all I ever wanted to be, this is all I ever wanted to do, and that nothing and nobody was gonna get in the way of that. And if you have the same attitude about whatever it is you're chasing, I can guarantee you're gonna make it.
I usually study boxing. That's like all I do is break film down. My fight with Jose is coming up in a couple of weeks, and he's the IBF world champ. You know, he was the interim champ, but the full champ, he just didn't want no part of him. He was scared to fight Jose, so scared to the point that he vacated his world title. You know, something every boxer dreams of getting and defending, and it seems crazy to me, but he's the world champ now. Portrays him as a scary guy, as a boogeyman, someone who, you know, no one wants to fight him. I don't see anybody raising their hand to fight Jose. I don't see anyone, you know, stepping up to say, hey, I'll fight him, I can take his belt. So let me do it. I'll raise my hand. I can do it. I feel like I have the best team in boxing. Justin Gamber, my head coach, you know, he's not just a trainer, he's a teacher. Just with the fundamentals and the skills, I've always had a lot of athletic ability, but just to sharpen those tools, tighten them up. And then, of course, my father, a dude who's been with me since the beginning.
We have my girlfriend Jordan, really just from A to Z, she plays a huge part of my team. I've been in relationships in the past that have been tough, but with Jordan, before we're anything, me and Jordan are best friends. You know, this is a huge moment for me. This is my life's work coming down to one moment.
I felt like a world champ and believed that I was a world champ since I was 9 years old. I've just been waiting on the world to catch up. But of course, it gets to a point where I moved to Vegas, I started sparring with pros, doing so well in sparring, and then afterwards you come out and it kind of brings confirmation to something that I already felt like I knew, that wow, I can hang with these guys, I am that good. People think that I'm getting thrown in there too early. It's too early in my career with only 17 fights, and this is what I signed up for, and I'm prepared for that. I would say it's therapeutic when I go run at night, but I don't know if I would say it's peaceful. I'm going over where I started, where I came from, the things that it's taken to get here. I'm thinking about not letting anybody outwork me or outrun me. My whole life I've been told what I can't do, especially this fight against Jose. You know, so many doubters, so many people saying I was going to get knocked out or this is the end of me. It's personal to me. Anybody that I step in the ring with, it's personal. This is my whole entire life. Somebody's trying to intervene with that. That's personal to me.
Nope. Get off me. No way, Jose. No way, Jose. No way, Jose. I think through my experiences, it became important to take a lot of pictures, because at some point that may be all you have left. Me and my grandfather over at his house, must have been some type of birthday party or something going on. I'm from Ashland City in Middle Tennessee. When I was younger, my father, he drank a lot, and he would get angry. My mom drank, and she had a lot of substance abuse problems as well. Picture me and my mother at my grandparents' house.
I can just remember being a kid, being so mad. I'd be in my room, upset, just mad at the world. Sometimes crying, just so frustrated at where we was living and how we was living and the things that was going on. And just a lot of chaos. Some things that I'm able to talk about and some things that I'm not. You know, some things I'd rather just, they're for me to carry. My mother, we all have demons. And some of our demons are stronger than others. And I feel like she was just too sweet for her own good. She was too soft for her own good. She continued on the path that they had been on. My father, when he scrambled together what little money he could to open up a rinky-dink gym in Ashland City, where we're from. Once my father opened up the gym, he said he was ready to put all that away and stop doing all that. Just being able to go to the gym, I was able to escape all those things. The chaos at home, being the poor kid. Boxing, that was like my sanctuary.
You know, when we started, he was going along, I would say a little above average, but nothing just too crazy. And then there came a point that he really started to get slick, and at that point he just kind of really began to separate himself from the rest of the pack. It was just like, yeah, I think this is gonna work out.
At the gym, I felt like I had everything that I ever wanted. I was there because I loved it. I was there because as much as I chose it, I felt like it was choosing me. When I was at home, I was just Caleb, and I was somebody who nobody would want to be. Nobody would want to have the clothes I had or the shoes I had. But when I went to the gym, I got to be somebody who everybody wanted to be. I got to be somebody who, even at a young age, grown men looked up to. This was the Olympic trials for boxing in Mobile, Alabama. Where I'm from, there's no boxing community, really. I'm the first boxer from Ashland City, so there was no road paved for me. We had to make our own way. We just had to trial and error. In the beginning, I didn't have a lot of believers. Who would believe that the kid from Ashland City would go on to fight for a world title one day? I had one person who believed in me, and that's all I needed. And so I feel like I owe him my life for that.
About 4 years ago or so, Taylor came to me and said, I got an idea to start a documentary on Caleb Plant. Walked in, started talking to the guy, and just saw his raw emotion and raw passion for the sport.
He looked at it as his only way out. Kind of right then I knew that it was a story that I had to be involved in. I remember him trying to get fights with guys and they would dodge him because they knew that he was a tough fight and it wasn't worth the money. But back in those days, he would fight anybody and everybody, just anything he could get to kind of push him forward. This was back in, I think, 2015. I always had felt like an outsider, or like I was, trying to work my way into the camp. And he just lands that beautiful body shot, and he salutes Floyd Mayweather right there in the front row. He comes and fist bumps me, and that's when I knew I was on the team.
So during the filming, there's a lot of ups and downs. His relationship with Aaliyah's mother ending, his cut man Todd dying. He meets Jordan, he falls in love, and finally has a title shot. But the situation with his daughter...
Come on, sit up like a big girl. Aaliyah.
Probably the darkest spot in the film, just the whole way it affected him.
Aaliyah, she is something really special, for sure. She came out and, she had a multitude of problems. She would have 175 to 200 seizures every single day. She had severe brain damage. She was on life support 5 different times. Every time, the doctors would come, sit me down, and they would say, Mr. Plant, we're sorry, but we've done everything we can, and she's going to pass away. And as a father, I wouldn't accept that. I didn't accept that. I would tell them, no, that's not the case. You're going to need to figure something out. Her stats would go way down, like she was going to pass away, and then she would come back up. But the last time she got really sick, they said, Mr. Plant, she's going to pass away, I'm telling you. It was different than other times. I made everyone leave for a little bit, and I went to her side, and I told her, Aaliyah, if you're tired of this, if this is something that you don't want to do anymore, I just want to let you know that I'm not going to be mad at you, that I love you, I'm proud of you. And right after I told her that, her stats started going down pretty quickly. I finally made the decision that I would never even wish on my worst enemy, and that is to finally come to terms with the fact that your daughter's going to die, that your daughter's going to pass away. Sometimes we want things so bad. Sometimes we hang on to them too tight, and really it hurts it, and it hurts us. That's a very difficult thing to come to accept. This is it. And I told them to take it off of her, and they did, and she passed away at 10:55, January 29th, 2015. When I go into the boxing gym, that's my sanctuary.
Great combinations, Caleb. Keep it up. Keep working.
There's all types of things that can happen out there, Chief.
Nice.
But when I step into the boxing gym, there's nothing that can touch me. There's nothing that can get to me.
Looking good, Caleb. Keep working it, man. Almost.
I get to set all my troubles and everything that's going on. I leave that at the door.
And time!
I just feel like nothing can touch me there. I cannot even begin to explain the amount of time that I've put in this, the things I've sacrificed to be here. I've been homeless, I've slept on the floor, I've been hungry, I've been cold, I've buried my daughter, and the thing that was keeping me going through all of that was just closing my eyes and envisioning them announcing "and the new." I made a promise to my daughter. I promised her I'd be a world champion. I told her not only that I would win it, but of course I would bring it to her. I plan on keeping that promise.
The morning of the fight, sitting there, I just got this really hot, warm, overwhelming feeling in my whole body, and it kind of took the breath out of me for a second, and I started tearing up, and I didn't even know what was going on. And my dad's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Dad, I just got this feeling in my heart that I know for sure that Caleb, he's gonna win. He's gonna be a world champion." And when I got that feeling, and I stopped crying like a baby, I wasn't even nervous the rest of the day because I was like, "There's no way that I've never felt that before." I knew that was God or something. So the rest of the night, I was fine because I was like, I don't know how he's gonna win, but I know for a fact he's gonna win.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Microsoft Theater here in Los Angeles, California, the main event of the evening.
This is basically the biggest day of my life. I'm just ready to show the world because so many doubters, so many people saying I was going to get knocked out or this is the end of me.
12 rounds for the IBF Super Middleweight Championship of the world.
It's the moment of truth. Here we go, we're all in, there's no turning back now. First bell rings and we come to the center and right off the bat, I started to establish my jab, my foot speed.
After measuring, now he's delivering.
We've never fought in a world title. All we've done is watch. There's anxiety. They are these amazing, spectacular things.
You never know how a guy's going to react in that big moment. He was the same sweet hands as he always has been. And for me as a coach, that was important.
Second round comes, I'm working on landing my jab and I step around behind him and step back up.
Good shot. Perfect timing on the part of Plant.
Once he scored that first knockdown, the way Caleb is, it's like, if I can get one knockdown, I can get another one.
In the fourth round so far, every round has gone to Caleb Plant. Down goes the champ!
And he hurt him with that
right and left hook.
I knew that I had caught him hard, but he still had his legs. So I went out there and I put my foot on the gas for a short amount of time.
Dream start from Caleb Plant.
He's getting a boxing lesson right now by Caleb Plant.
He is. Plant is cut over his right eye.
They clash heads. Caleb suffers a bad cut. And so I can imagine that the champion has got some confidence now. He sees blood. He's like, okay, now I have something to work with. He's starting to pick it up, starting to press the action more.
They address that cut in between rounds.
Jose is a dangerous fighter. He's relentless in his pressure. He's got big power in both hands. He's a boogeyman.
Now this could not be good for Plant to stand and go toe-to-toe.
Pataki look like he got his second win right now. He look like he's stalking him now.
Oh, and he got hurt. He got hurt.
Plant is somewhat down.
It was a good shot. We got tied up. We was falling left and right. He was on top of me.
I was concerned because he's a very dangerous guy. But I'm like, stay calm, Caleb. Don't get caught up in the moment.
As soon as I had the opportunity, I stood up and I smacked my gloves together, shaking my head, letting him know I'm here, I'm not going anywhere.
Can Plant hang in there? He's ahead of this fight.
Oh! Right hand.
This is a gladiator sport, so at some point he's going to close the gap and we're going to fight on the inside. For the most part, I'm beating him on the inside of his own game.
We're going to round 12 from Caleb Plant's corner. One more good round. You want to be world champion. The champ needing a knockout or the title will slip from his hands. In position to take away the IBF World Super Middleweight title.
When the bell rang, I was just so proud of Caleb and his team. We've all been with Caleb working so hard, and we've seen all the sweat and the tears.
And arms in the air as if he already has it.
It's always up to the judges, and you don't know what they're thinking.
My whole life, I haven't been searching for that last bell. I've been searching for those words and the new.
For your winner by unanimous decision, and the new IBF Super Middleweight Champion of the World.
To hear those words that when I felt like I couldn't do any more or go any farther, the only thing that was keeping me going was closing my eyes and envisioning an announcer saying, and the new. I just felt like everything that I had been through in life, whether it's with Aaliyah or how I grew up, where I grew up, or, you know, at times not having anywhere to stay, everything that I had ever been through, I felt those emotions all at once. Just to be able to say I kept my promise to my daughter. I told you, Aaliyah, I promise you. It felt good.
We love you, Caleb.
We're going down to Ashton City right now got a little press conference and some media coming, some of the people. This is where I grew up, this is my hometown, so it's small and there ain't a lot going on, but it's my town, it's where I'm from, you know, so I'm proud to be from here.
Caleb, Sweet Hands.
Got to go home and they had a big reception for me.
Thank you guys so much for coming out today. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You know, I was blessed enough to get the key to the city.
Caleb, Sweet Hands, Plant Day.
With the specific things that I have been through in my life, I do want people to know, yeah, there is a light on the end of the tunnel.
With Aaliyah, my daughter, she's been a big motivation.
And no matter how dark it may seem now, that if you continue to just put one foot in front of the other, that at some point you're gonna get to the end of that tunnel. Got to go speak at my old high school at an assembly in front of all the kids.
What's going on, guys? What's going on?
I take pride in that because it's important to me to not only get where I'm going, and it's important for me to try and reach back. That's my responsibility.
From the same place, I had the same.
He always wants to set a good example for them, you know, especially where he's from. There's a lot of drugs and people settle for things.
I'm proud of where I'm from. I'm proud of this street. I'm proud of Bear Waller, where I grew up and lived a lot of my life. You know, I come back here and I'm just reminded of why I started working so hard to begin with.
I think a lot of them did get inspired thinking, hey, this kid grew up down the street from here, didn't have much just like me, and look where he's at. So hopefully he made a difference in their lives.
As great as it was to go back to my high school and to talk to those kids and to get the key to the city, that wasn't at the top of my priority list of why I went back to Tennessee. And at the top of that list was I had a promise to keep to my daughter, Aaliyah. I had figured out early that I wouldn't be able to have the same relationship with Aaliyah that, you know, I had with my father or that many kids have with their parents. Like dropping her off at her first day of school or going to prom or having her first softball game. I knew early on that all of those things weren't going to be able to be a part of Aaliyah's life. But I would sit there with her and rock with her and just, I would tell her about all the things I wanted to do in boxing and all the things that I planned on doing and wanted to accomplish. And one of the biggest things that I promised her is that I would become a world champion and bring that belt back to her.
Did it, Pumpkin. We did what we set out to do, Pumpkin. We said we were gonna do it, huh? That's what we did. We tried to tell them. This is just the beginning though, really. A lot of people think this is the end of our story. But tell them this is the beginning.
As her father, to be able to say that I'd done something of that magnitude for my child, that was special for me, so.
I want to know if you'll marry me.
This is what I have left of my mom. This is what I have left of my daughter. You don't realize how important that these things are until they're not here anymore.